Salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to this night-ending bonus upload. Before we jump into it, a couple quick links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click the bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment and share the video. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. They definitely do matter, and they are appreciated. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into today's night-ending bonus upload, shall we? Some of the top, most versatile predators on the planet are certainly the canids. The biological family canid encompasses a wide range of species and subspecies, including domestic dog, wolves, foxes, jackal, and dingo, and everything in between. Coming in a vast variety of sizes, colors, and shapes, they are a group of predators that have proven to be widely successful, spreading out to every corner of the globe, to every continent except Antarctica, hunting and prowling about to hunt within just every niche and habitat there is. These are creatures which formed an unbreakable bond and partnership with the humans many millennia ago, and gave us our domesticated dog and many variations. These majestic animals tend to rule their domain wherever they are found, and are among the most successful predators on the planet. Let's venture to North America for some canine cryptids. Our first cryptid, Canine, is known from tales from the remote cold regions of the north, where native tribes in the Nahanni Valley of Northwest Territories of Canada have long spoken of an enormous wolf-like beast that stalks the frozen wastelands and is called the Wahila. The Wahila is usually said to look very similar to a wolf, but much larger, more muscular, and heavily built, with shorter, stockier legs that are longer in the front than in the back. Indeed, the Wahila's body is said to be almost bear-like in its shape and massive quality. And it is also often described as having disproportionately large feet that are almost like snowshoes, with widely spaced toes and broader, more formable head than a normal wolf with smaller ears, and sometimes is mentioned as having long white fur. At least one eyewitness sighting has described the beast as being like a wolf on steroids and standing about 3.5 feet at shoulder, which is far larger than a typical wolf. The legends surrounding this creature say that it is a solitary hunter rather than a pack animal like the wolves and most other canine, and that it has various supernatural powers. Interestingly, the Wahila's main territory in the Nahanni Valley is also known for its large amount of disappearances and deaths, with some corpses being found headless, leading to a rather ominous nickname, the Headless Valley. Some have even blamed these mysterious deaths on the presence of the Wahila. And indeed, the valley is wreathed in dark legend of numerous evil spirits that are said to inhabit it. The Wahila has also been reported from Alaska and northern Michigan, and Ontario, Canada has its own version of the Wahila, called the Ontario White Wolf. Theories on what the Wahila could be vary, with one of the most popular ideas in cryptozoology being that it's not a wolf at all, but rather a relic population of the prehistoric beast known as the bear dog. These imposing creatures were from a family of Amphicemidae, a group of animals that resembled a hybrid between a wolf and a bear, hence their common name and are thought to have died out in the New World around 2 million years ago, and in the Old World around 10,000 years ago. The top proponent of the idea that the Wahila could be a surviving population of the bear dogs was the renowned cryptozoologist Ivan Sanderson, who believed that they could still remain in extremely isolated remote regions from which the Wahila reportedly comes. Other theories point to a relic population of the dire wolf, which were large, heavily built wolves that became extinct about 125,000 years ago. Yet other theories speculate that the Wahila could be some sort of North American relative of the hyena, or a new species of large canine altogether. More speculation of the Wahila point to it being merely an exaggerated report of an exceptionally large gray wolf, or mere superstitious tales from the native folklore and legend. Another cryptid canine that seems very similar to the Wahila is the mysterious beast known to the native peoples of the Great Plains as the Shunka Warin, which translates to carries off dogs. As well as many other regional names depending on the tribe, the Shunka Warin was apparently often cited by both native tribes and early white settlers of the area, who typically described it as being a very large, heavy set with a build somewhat reminiscent of the cross between a wolf and a hyena, and with black to dark red fur. Some settlers claim to have shot and mounted specimens of the beast, and there is at least one mysterious mounted specimen that was shot in Montana in 1886 by Israel Hutchins. The specimen was acquired by a taxidermist named Joseph Sherwood and stuffed and displayed at a general store in Idaho, where it was labeled as Ringdugus. Although this mount has never been formally examined in any great depth, and even went missing for a while, some cryptozoologists, notably the renowned Loren Coleman, has even suggested that it is physical evidence of the legendary Shunka Warin. As recently as 2006, there was a strange-looking reddish-yellow wolf that was shot in Garfield County, Montana, after apparently going on a killing spree and slaughtering about 120 sheep. While there was speculation in the cryptozoology world that it was an actual specimen of the Shunka Warin, the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Department eventually came to the conclusion that it was merely an aberrant individual of a wolf. Again, there's many theories as what the Shunka Warin could be, with favorites being that it was a surviving dire wolf, or a relic population of the Borophaginae, which is a large hyena-like canine often called bone-crushing dogs, or that they represent some form of an American hyena. It is also quite possible that reports of the Shunka Warin were based on sightings of physically aberrant or unusually colored gray wolves. Regardless of what the Shunka Warin is, there are occasional sightings of these enigmatic beasts to this day, and inconclusive video and photographs of them. Another mysterious wolf-like animal reported in North America is a creature known to the Seminole people of Oklahoma as the Hakco Topacaco, which was said to be massive, horse-sized wolf with large ears and a tail of a horse and extremely large eyes. Native folklore maintained that these fierce creatures smelled truly horrific and had supernatural powers to infect with disease anything it comes to contact with. There have been very sparse sighting reports of this creature. For instance, in 1951 in Colma, Oklahoma, by Mrs. Lawrence Lubb, who claimed that it looked like some sort of bizarre hybrid of a wolf and a deer. In another report, a group of campers claimed that they saw a bizarre wolf-like creature the size of an ox lumbering through the wilderness of the Rockies. Here is that claim from Mrs. Lubb. One evening in 1951, Miss Lawrence Lubb of Calmont, Oklahoma, went to check on her cattle. As she passed over the summit of a hill, she saw a strange creature. "I know how this sounds, and I know it's impossible," she states later, "but it looked like a cross between a wolf and a deer. The animal, standing on 4 thin deer-like legs with huge pads for feet, had long hair slightly lighter in color than a German shepherd. It was larger than a dog or a wolf and had small, pointed ears and a bushy tail." Mrs. Lubb threw a stick at the thing. It merely looked at her for a long moment, completely unafraid. The woman returned to her home, all the while glancing over her shoulder at the animal, which continued to study her. Her husband told her that he had seen a similar creature 2 years previously, and the neighbors reported strange tracks on their land. Here's another brief little encounter with the Hakco Topacaco. It resembles a horse with a horse's tail, but has a head more like a wolf and enormous long ears. It is extremely ugly and tall like a man, a Sasquatch-like being. It smells like stagnant, muddy water, one states. That the creature frequents the Rockies, where they are often observed watching people as they pass. One man states that he recently saw 2 of them near New Tulsa. The long-legged creatures sound similar even to the pastime of watching people, but the Calumet thing had pointed ears, not long, floppy ones. Let's take this adventure down to South America. Sprawled out over large portions of South America and extending through Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina is the majestic Andes mountain range, the longest continental range in the world and the highest one outside of Asia. From this vast range of little explored peaks and remote wilderness come stories of a wild canine that is currently cloaked in mystery. In 1926, a German animal dealer by the name of Lorenz Hagenbeck acquired 3 unusual pelts from a vendor in Buenos Aires who claimed they were those of the reclusive wild canine species native to the wilds of Andes. These mysterious skins were of no species the experienced trader had ever seen, so he had them sent off to his homeland to be analyzed. The pelts moved through several museums until 1940, when one of the pelts was examined by Dr. Ingo Krumbiegel, who had come across the strange canine skull from the Andes 10 years earlier and proclaimed them to be the same new, unknown species of wild dog. Krumbiegel was so convinced that the skull and pelts represented a new species of canine, he wrote a paper on the findings and even went as far to designate the animal with a scientific name, Desiasan Hagenbecki. With the coming of World War II, this paper was all but forgotten among various other pressing concerns, and was lost to time, never to be widely peer-reviewed or acknowledged. It wasn't until the 60s that the pelts would have looked again and tested with modern scientific methods such as DNA analysis, which proved to have mixed results. The first results of such testing showed them to be merely mundane domesticated dogs, and further testing by the Munich Zoological Museum in Germany found the samples to be degraded by chemical treatment and highly contaminated with pig, wolf, and human DNA, rendering the samples inconclusive and keeping the pelts shrouded in mystery. The enigmatic wild dog, which has come to be known by various names such as the Andean wolf and the Andean mountain wolf and the Hagenbeck wolf, still lacks any conclusive evidence proving or disproving its existence, and will likely remain a shadowy specter until further information, evidence, or specimens have been uncovered. We'll cross the ocean to Africa. Africa, with its vast regions of uncharted wilderness, perhaps seems the perfect place for some sort of unknown canine cryptid to lurk. Here in the desolate desert wastelands of the Sahara, in the northern region of Africa, there is said to prowl a species of mysterious dog or wolf-like creatures, known to the nomadic Tuareg people as the Adjul, where they are known as legendary creatures of lore, sometimes attributed with supernatural powers, such as the ability to sow confusion or discord in humans. The Adjul is usually described as standing about 2.5 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing about 30 to 45 pounds, with rough, reddish skin that has a somewhat blue hue. With large webbed feet and only 4 toes, they are said to hunt in packs, numbering in 3 to 13 members, but are mostly thought to be harmless to humans. In 1928, a French naturalist and explorer, Theodore Monod, collected numerous accounts at the time of this strange creature from locals in the desert regions, and there was sporadic sightings of the creature since. In his recent of 92, there was a sighting of a pack allegedly hunting near a village. One of the most common theories for what these are is a misidentification of the African wild dog, which demonstrates fewer toes than normal canine species, but while common in other areas, is largely considered extinct in the Sahara areas, where the Adjul is reported. It has also been suggested that the Adjul could be simply another canine species with a skin condition, such as mange, or a misidentification of some other species of animal. However, there is certainly still the possibility that this mysterious creature represents some new canine species. Now we'll head over to England. In 1810, the Falls of Cumberland, England, were stalked and terrorized by a mysterious bloodthirsty beast which over 6 months ravaged a large number of sheep across the countryside. This was already scary enough for locals who had no experience with such a terrifying predator, but making the whole incident stranger and more ominous was the state in which the dead sheep were found. The sheep that were killed by the creature did not display characteristics typical of an attack by a dog or wolf, as they were only missing a few select organs, and more sinisterly, were allegedly found to totally drained of blood. Other than this, the sheep were mostly uneaten. In some cases, the sheep were not even killed at all, but rather mauled and left alive and crippled, with large chunks of meat torn from them. Concerned farmers of the besieged region took it upon themselves to try to hunt down whatever this mysterious beast was. But despite frequent hunting parties fanning out into the night, they were unable to even catch a glimpse of the creature, all while the body count of the slain sheep grew. Traps were set in effort to catch it, and even poisoned dead sheep to set out to kill it. But again, the beast eluded capture, leaving the traps and their bait as well as the poisoned sheep carcass completely untouched. A reward was posted for the vicious beast's death, and professional hunters went out to bring it down on horseback and with specifically trained hunting dogs. But the dogs were reportedly terrified of going anywhere near it, and it is said that these normally fearless hunting dogs would sometimes fly into a panic and run away with their tails between their legs if they caught a scent of the thing. In one case, a hunting dog was seriously wounded when it ran off in some trees in pursuit, only to come hobbling back to its master with its front legs crushed by some powerful jaws. Despite all these efforts, the creature or creatures continued to kill the sheep indiscriminately, avoiding traps and hunting parties and scaring off hunting dogs. Whatever the elusive monster was, it was going about its grim business right under the noses, almost as if it was mocking the people. Rumors being to take hold amongst the superstitious populace that the mysterious animal, which was becoming known as the Great Dog of Ernindale, or even more sinister name, the Vampire Dog of Ernindale, was not even an animal at all, but rather some sort of supernatural apparition, demon, or a phantom. One farmer claimed to have seen the thing described as it being an enormous creature that was somewhat like a dog, but with cat-like features as well, and with sandy brown fur marked by stripes down its back. As the news of this great dog spread throughout the country, more and more hunters descended upon the area to try to have their hand at killing it. A few of the hunting parties had close calls with the beast, such as one led by the professional hunter named William Rothery, whose dog seemed to have the creature surrounded in a clump of trees. Just as Rothery thought that he would be the one to finally bring this reign of terror to an end, the creature reportedly made a mad dash through the brush straight at him. Before Rothery had a chance to fire, the beast was already past him and darting away, leaving the hunter to reportedly exclaim, "Scarce! What a dog!" The great dog was finally brought down by a hunter named Jonathan Patrickson, who encountered it on the banks of the River End and managed to shoot and wound it. The hunter allegedly pursued it for several miles, all the while his dogs refusing to go anywhere near it, until whatever it was dove into the water and swam to the other side, where it was finally shot and killed by one of the hunting party named John Steele. In the end, the mysterious beast had reportedly killed between 300 to 400 sheep, although there were no accounts of attacks on humans. The dead creature was reportedly around 51 kilograms in weight, and it was apparently subsequently mounted for display in the Keswick Museum and Art Gallery. However, as is often the case with these alleged cryptid bodies, the mounted specimen was discarded in the 50s after the curator complained that the mount had become dusty, old, and ragged. With the lack of the mounted carcass as evidence, it was unlikely we'll ever know what kind of mysterious canine the great dog was. It has been speculated to have been anything from a rogue wolf to an escaped big cat. But most interesting theory making the rounds is that it was in fact a specimen of the extinct Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, which had escaped from a traveling circus. Proponents of this theory point to the fact that many traveling menageries of the area often had exotic animals, such as the thylacine, which was called the tiger dog, one of which could have escaped to roam the countryside. The striped coloration of the great dog seems to match that of the thylacine, as well as does the impressive size. And it is also said that the thylacine had a penchant or preference for soft organs of kills and drinking blood. Could the mysterious great dog have been the escaped thylacine, terrorizing the English countryside far from home? It is likely we'll ever know for sure. Now let's venture to Asia. From the remote forests of the Myanmar, in particular the Padang Game Sanctuary near the Irrawaddy River, come stories of a mysterious wild canine that could possibly represent a new species or even a new genus. What has come to be known as the gray dhole, or the Myanmar gray wild dog, is described as having dark gray fur, a pitch-black muzzle, and short, rounded ears. Although natives of the area have long known of this animal, the gray dhole has first brought to attention of the scientific community by E.G. Fighton Adams, who in 1913 wrote of an existence of a new species of gray wild dog, known to the Burmese locals. Adams had seen the creature in April of that year and said it was an unrecognized canine species that was gray in color and somewhat wolf-like in appearance. The species was also described in a 1933 book entitled A Game Book for Burma and Adjoining Territories. In 1936, a Burmese explorer called Mr. Tsang also came across the creature in the heavily forested lower Chidwin district, and it was described as being larger than a jackal or wild dog and having dark gray coat, a black muzzle, and unique half-shut eyes. The seasoned explorer claimed that he had never seen or come across the species in this area, And in the 50s, such reports prompted the Bombay Natural Historic Society to make a concerted effort to try to get the skin, skull, or some other physical evidence of this unknown species. But none was ever acquired. One gamekeeper reportedly did shoot one of the animals, and its skin was alleged saved, but at some point was lost in time, and its whereabouts is unknown. While the region is already home to the dhole, also known as the Asiatic wild dog, Indian wild dog, and red wolf, the gray dhole is said to be smaller and displays a coloration not consistent with the usual reddish coat of the known dholes. The gray dhole could be a new species of the dhole, or something else altogether. Some have suggested that it could be a relic population of wolves which were once known in the region but have officially gone extinct, a hybrid between a dog and a golden jackal, or even a hybrid between a dhole and a wolf, although nothing of the sort has ever been recorded. And it is uncertain whether dholes can even interbreed with other types of canine, as it has never been demonstrated, and classification of the dholes has put them in everything from a separate genus to Canis to an entire unique subfamily. Others say that the gray dhole could be a new genus or subfamily of the canine completely, unrelated to the dhole. It is unlikely that we'll ever know for sure, as the gray dhole has not been sighted since the 30s. And even if it ever existed at all, it is likely that it has gone extinct. Alright guys, first I'd like to say I am sorry for the raspiness of my throat. I had to stop a couple times and drink some coffee. It seemed like every 2 minutes, literally every 2 minutes, my throat would just get congested. Back to the upload though. The Wahila, when we discussed that in the beginning, I instantly thought Dogman. The Wahila is usually said to look very similar to a wolf, but much larger, more muscular, heavily built, with shorter, stockier legs that are longer in the front than the back. A wolf on steroids standing 3.5 feet at shoulder. That's a freaking huge animal. That's just huge. Then when we were discussing the Hakco Topacaco, the one from Oklahoma, large horse-like wolf dog. There was just so many things coming to my head when I was reading this. The African cryptid with the reddish and blue hue, skin clearly visible, reminded me of a subscriber that sent his encounter to us, and we did it a while ago, a couple days ago, when he was in his car and he saw this form of canine, larger, long front arms with short muscular rear legs, barreled chested, skinny stomach, no tail, long snout, but yet it was hairless with pinkish color. I immediately, when I was doing the Adjul, I thought right back to this subscriber's encounter. So just, and that was in Africa. So we're going from one cryptid in Africa to a subscriber's encounter in Texas. And it is so similar, like animal. It just creeped the shit out of me, wow. I mean, I think the Dogman, there's a lot of speculation. It's government created, it's this, it's that. I think this thing has been around a lot longer than we than we can even fathom. I think this creature is not government created. I think, yes, there is some sort of spiritual or mystical energy, like the Native American tribes talk about a lot. A lot of indigenous tribes throughout the world have very similar, I mean, we're talking like you're in Africa and there's dog-like creatures resembling Americanized cryptids. Asia, South America. These people can't talk to each other. Well, they can now, but back then they couldn't. So it just, I don't know. Maybe these things, maybe the Dogman is like a portal shifter or something. I don't want to sound like some tinfoil wearing hat freak guy that's sitting in his studio just coming up with crazy ideas, but that's what I am, minus the tin hat or aluminum foil hat. But damn it, I mean, these things all connect. There's just stories upon stories that just fit together. I think the Dogman was here a lot longer. I don't think it was government created. Possibly they were captured and possibly, crossbred with things and, just made to be what they are now and used by the government. But I don't even know. This is just too much. Too much fits together. And just not, I don't know. My brain's going a mile a minute. I hope your guys is as well, because there's nothing cooler than thinking about these things. And that's what brings you guys back to my channel, because we're sharing these crazy encounters together. Not only am I reading them to you guys and narrating them to you guys, but you guys are sending them in to me. So it's like we're just one big Dogman cryptid encounter family, and I love you guys. You guys kick ass. You guys make this channel. You guys made me want to do this upload, and I loved this upload. This is one of my favorites, and I said I was going to do Indian lore. I went looking for Indian lore, and I came across all of this, and I was like, man, I got to do this. And I did it.
And there you have it, folks. I hope you all enjoyed this night-ending bonus upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is, after all, your support that helps the channel to continue to grow and go, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Everyone is simply treated with the respect that we deserve. Please, everyone, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. These events have happened. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless you all.